Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio.
Yo, Elizabeth Dutton.
Zaron Burnett.
Do you have a moment of time?
Always.
Can I ask you a
I
question?
do nothing all day.
Excellent.
I sit outside of headquarters on that bench.
Yeah.
I wait for you to show up. I wait for Dave to show up.
Yeah, getting sun.
And then I come in. We record. I go back out to the bench.
You go back to the bench.
Yep.
That's why you're always there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Did not know that.
Yep.
Well, I got a question for you if you got time before you get back on your bench.
Yeah.
Do you know what's ridiculous?
I do.
Okay, well, lay it on, brother.
Let me just start with this. I know that you're a fan of baths, right? Taking a bath.
A big bath man. Me in the baths.
You love them.
Yes.
Do you use bath bombs ever?
All right. I'll have to admit something. I interestingly used one last night.
Oh, you did?
Yes. I don't normally use a bath bomb, but it was a gift. And then I was like, well, let me just break this little beauty out and dropped it in there and it fizzed to life. And I was like, oh my. Like a little
Someone
George
gave
Takei.
you the tingles?
Yeah.
All right, then. Okay, so you use these. Now, what scent was that you had?
I have no idea.
Just
it was,
pleasant?
I literally no idea. Like
Okay.
if you asked me, Zaron, what scent is this? I'd give you the same answer. No idea.
No idea. But it smelled good.
It smelled great. Yeah, fantastic.
So we've established that you like baths.
Mm-hmm.
You know what else I think you might like? I know you've told me you like it before in the past. Fried chicken.
Oh, yeah, totally. Wait a minute. Where are you taking this?
Well,
a fried chicken bath bomb?
Yes.
Do not.
Yes. All right, we've covered KFC product mashups before with those fireplace logs.
Oh, yeah.
Well, in Japan, they released a bath bomb that smells like fried chicken.
It smells like KFC fried chicken.
Yeah. Well, all the herbs and spices.
Yeah, the 11
proprietary
secret herbs and spices.
Which, I feel like if I sat down with a pen and paper and really put my mind to it, I could come up with all of them.
Apparently, the Coca-Cola recipe and the KFC recipe have both been cracked, and they are online, and you can find them.
Sweet. Okay, everybody go look. See, we got this.
And the Olive Garden salad dressing.
We got this recommended to us by Gibson LP27. I don't know this gentleman's real name, but he's on Instagram.
All right, hit it up.
Amazing. He's an amazing fella. He linked to, there's this website, This Is Why I'm Broke, which I love. It's just all random products. And he found this stuff, this KFC stuff for us and passed it along. So, Kentucky, it looks like a chicken wing, like a leg, looks like a chicken leg, sorry.
So I'm dropping fried chicken into my bath.
Yeah, and it turns the water orange. Orange.
So you're sitting in like grease water, going, everything smells like fried chicken. And then you get out and someone is going to sit next to you.
Yeah.
You're like,
And then all the neighborhood dogs come sniffing at you. They only made 100 of them.
Really?
Yeah, and then they decided it was a war crime and they had to stop.
Does that mean they're super expensive?
No, I think they were a giveaway. It was in Japan. You had
to know a dude?
Yeah, I don't speak Japanese or read it, so I can't really read what this says. But anyway, they had you had to enter this thing. You could get a coupon for a secret combination pack of menu items. And then
just send away.
Basically what it means is you can eat fried chicken in the bath.
I already do
and then
this.
Wash your hands with the
fried chicken water and be like, oh.
Yeah. And then who's to say what's going to happen after that? Steep yourself in those bones. I mean, it's just like...
Dip yourself to your pleasure.
Well, and it's KFC. It's not Bojangles, the Southern.
Yes.
Which I always wanted to get Bojangles and then stack up the bones and play Bojenga. Hello?
Is this thing on? Just let that air out.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, I'm with you on that one, kind of.
I think I'm right that this is ridiculous.
It's 100% ridiculous. And I love baths and bombs and KFC fried chicken. So I don't know where they went wrong.
Let's make this happen. Make it happen.
Oh, man. Well, that's ridiculous, Dutton.
Yes.
That is dang ridiculous.
Yes.
But I got one for you if you got a second.
Yes.
You got a second?
Yes.
All right. Your bench will be fine. Okay. This one's a wild one. All right. I want to introduce you to my dude. His name is Howard X. But this Howard X, you may be thinking, Nation Islam?
Yeah.
No. He is far from that. This man, my man, Howard X, he is a North Korean dictator lookalike.
Whoa.
Yeah. And he calls himself Kim Jong.
Na.
So I want to tell you about that one time when my dude, Howard X, a.k.a. Kim Jong, he and a Vladimir Putin lookalike helped a Volodymyr Zelensky lookalike to escape Ukraine in the days just after Russia invaded.
What is going on?
Yeah. This is Ridiculous Crime, a podcast about absurd and outrageous capers, heists, and cons. It's always 99% murder-free and 100% ridiculous. Elizabeth.
Zaron.
I promised you a wild one.
Yes, you did.
I got the goods. I swear to you. But I think you need to meet Howard X before we get into all the whole fancy pants stuff of what he does in the lookalike bazaar. All right? Okay, so who is Howard X?
Tell me.
Why is Howard X? And how did you put the X in Howard X? Well, Elizabeth, these are all great questions. I'm glad you asked.
Thank you.
Let's take them one at a time. But, okay, wait a minute. Let me back up. You know how you're like the master celebrity impersonator? Mm-hmm. You want to do a quick one?
Sure.
Okay.
Lay it on me.
How about the Afro painter Bob Ross?
Okay. Hey, everybody, it's me, Bob Ross. Gonna paint and all day paint.
Oh, man, I'm just over here the titanium white is washing over me.
For a second there, my hair curled itself into that cute little afro.
I could see the happy little trees and the squirrels. It was amazing. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, you know how you just did that, right? Well, Howard X is kind of like you. But he doesn't do what you do with your voice. He does that, but he does it with his face.
With his body.
Well, primarily, yes.
Okay.
His face, but really,
your face
is
say, part of your body.
This is true.
Yeah.
Write that down.
Yeah.
So Howard X, a.k.a. Kim Jong,
Na.
Well, he was born Lee Howard. I'm not going to go into his full name because he has said if his full name gets out there, he gets death threats. So we're just going to respect him as Lee Howard. Okay. There's other parts to his name. So dude is born in Hong Kong in like 1978 or 1979, which is kind of like an answer I would give. I like that about him. He's of Chinese descent. He starts out his life wanting to be a musician. He's like, I was drawn to the sound of the drum, right? It's in my soul. Age 9, he starts becoming a young drummer. Howard X once said of his days as a young musician, and I quote, I always wanted to do music because I didn't care about anything else. It's like the most musician thing you can say, right? I mean, it's like I can hear your brother saying that. Now, he also said, I just wanted to do music, and I graduated with a bachelor's in jazz performance from Australia. And as soon as I graduated, I was a performing musician.
An Australian jazz degree.
Exactly. That was my thought. I was like, interesting. You're like, I need to go learn jazz.
I'm going to go
down
to the hot
Australia.
Spot. No offense, Australia. I'm sure you do everything in an incredible way, but
you just don't expect.
No.
Yeah. So he goes to Australia for jazz music instruction, and then he returns to Hong Kong, and he's like ready to gig in the bumping Hong Kong jazz scene.
Right.
And this is like 2003, 2004.
Okay.
And I don't know, maybe it was a bumping or not, but anyway, he's like, this isn't the move. I need to get out of here. So he heads over, bounces around the globe to Brazil. He's like, they got jazz. Now,
Brazil.
Yeah, he stokes himself up on some of that good jazz, and he studies Brazilian music. He falls in love with it. He decides, you know what? I need to bring this back to my people. They need to know the power of bossa nova. So he records an English and Chinese language bossa nova album called Bossa Negra.
Okay.
Yeah.
Howard. Careful now.
Exactly.
Watch your step there, buddy.
He decides this is one of my people. So he put Howard in perspective. He once said that his other great loves are, quote, food and women. I love Argentinian meat and Japanese food. Now, I assume by Argentinian meat, he means the beef. The beef and not los mujeres. I'm assuming.
Well, if he says, I love food and women, and then he gives an example of food and says food.
Argentinian meat, yeah. I don't know, whatever. So he is a man of appetites.
Yeah,
so things were going well for young Howard X, the bossa nova jazz man and meat lover. And then life comes calling. And in this case, for him, it was the death of a North Korean dictator. Yeah, you never know what's going to hit you. So, December 2011, Kim Jong-il died. Now, not only was he the son of the founder of North Korea, Kim Il-sung, but he was also the former head of the North Korean film industry and a big-time Godzilla fan. Now, we've discussed this, right? Now, when Kim Jong-il passed away in 2011, he was succeeded by his son, Kim Jong-un, who is the current leader of North Korea. This brings me back to Howard X. So, in 2012, Howard X wakes up to the fact that he's like, wait a minute, I can make a lot of money with my face. So as Howard X told Vice, and I quote, when he first came on the scene just before his dad, Kim Jong-il, introduced him and promoted him to the head of the army or something, I thought, man, that's my face. Apart from that, I didn't think too much about it. Then a few people pointed it out, and I thought about impersonators elsewhere making cash, and I realized I could do that too. He's like, yeah, this is now going to be my passport to wealth. So he decides...
His voice is his passport. Verify him.
Very good.
Thank you.
So he's like, you know what? For me, this won't require too much, energy and effort to transform into Kim Jong, what he will eventually become Kim Jong right? So he said himself.
Kim Jong
So for him, it all starts with a pair of hair clippers. He's like, just give me some hair clippers and I can become him.
That's how all good things start.
Yes, exactly. This is my personal motto.
Yeah.
Give me hair clippers and we can sort it out.
Exactly.
So he had to get that high top fade that Kim Jong-un rocks.
Yeah.
So as Howard X once again tells Vice, I got that stupid haircut. It's horrible. And I already owned one of those Mao suits. Back in 1997, I wore it for the Hong Kong handover parties. Also, I've got his body shape and I eat a lot, so I've got a double chin. No need for props. So he's like all lined up, right? So other than this, things pretty much take care of themselves. He's like, you know what? All I need to do is let the world see me as my new creation. Let the Kim Jong wash over them, right? He's like, okay. And I quote, I took some photos, uploaded them to Facebook, and an Israeli production house found me. They were producing a commercial for the competitor of McDonald's, Burger Ranch.
Wait.
Apparently in Israel, McDonald's main competition is Burger Ranch.
Because they don't want
I don't know what they don't want. I couldn't answer that question. So at this point, he becomes Kim Jong officially. The ball is rolling. Now, for the most part, as I told you, it isn't terribly difficult to maintain this look. He was telling the New York Post, basically, I just don't exercise and I eat a lot of high-quality steaks.
Okay.
So, he also primarily works on the scowl. That's where he finds his Kim Jong.
They go through a lot of pomade, too, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah. I bet he's gotten like an oil slick up there on his head.
Dapper Dan.
He's a Dapper Dan, man. So he does, as I was saying, a lot of work on his scowl, and he says the key to becoming Kim Jong is to becoming him is to always look unhappy and dissatisfied. Yeah. So he's like, look, if I can be sad boy, I've got it nailed. Right? So he's like, this is the key. And also, of course, he does wear a little makeup because he's got to he's taking a lot of photos. He wants to look good from every angle. So he also snips and trims his eyebrows. He wants to match them because that's important to the look.
Right.
And then, obviously there's the haircut. And Elizabeth, have you ever seen the back of Kim Jong-un's head?
Oh, he has does he have a tumor?
I don't know. I've never seen it. I realized I'd never seen it.
I feel like I read a while back that
he's got a weird bump.
He's got some sort of lump, and I don't know if it's just a big old cyst.
Okay. A sebaceous growth.
I was going to say something gross, but never mind. I don't know if it's what it is, but apparently, you never see pictures of the back of his head.
Yeah, so Howard X was having a hard time with it. He was like, if I'm going to get this haircut right, I got to get, the back of his head. I never really thought about it. I don't think about Korean dictators' heads that often. But as Howard X told the BBC, it's extremely hard to find a picture of the back of his head. But I did my research, printed out a load of photos, took them to a local guy, and after a bit of experimenting, he perfected the look. He's now my regular stylist, but he's had to adjust his usual way of cutting in order for me to look this ridiculous. Apparently, it goes against every single rule for a good haircut.
Of course.
So after all that work to get the haircut just right, he eventually still has to hide the haircut because he walks out, he looks like Kim Jong-un.
Right.
So he's always wearing a hat, right? Except for at home, he gets to take the hat off, but then his girlfriend has to deal with that. And let's just say, not the sexiest look.
Yeah.
As he said, my girlfriend hates it. It is, quote, not the sexiest look.
Yeah, I'd be like, how about a sleeping cap?
Yeah, baby, we're going to get you a long stocking. So
I need to find me a man who looks like Kim Jong-un.
Can you? I mean, you got to give his girl credit. I mean, she's basically saying what you're saying is I don't want Kim Jong-un climbing on top of me and making sex faces at me.
God.
And you can't blame the girl for that. Now, in case you were wondering, Kim Jong-un, he's got a Tinder. So if you were wondering, is he out there on the dating circuit? Yes, he is, Elizabeth.
Oh, did the girlfriend leave him?
No, just Kim Jong-un, the character. Not Howard X. Howard X isn't on Tinder. Kim Jong-un is.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Well,
baby, it's not me. It's
Kim Jong.
Kim Jong.
So he wrote on his profile that if you like a man with power, I'm your guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's like Kissinger said. Power is the ultimate aphrodisiac, right? Kissinger.
I try not to listen to anything
Kissinger on sex advice. No? Imagine Kissinger climbing up on top of you, making sexy faces. No? Okay, well, whatever.
No.
Now, as you might guess, Elizabeth.
Yes.
Pretending to be a dictator of North Korea is not the safest occupation. It's there are other ones like roofers, probably more dangerous, but it's up there.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to its own particular hazards, Kim Jong-un tries to send a killer hit team after you. There's that. But his mother, right? She was ahead of this, so she took out a life insurance plan on her boy just in case
You're
he
kidding.
gets whacked.
Oh my God.
But Howard X does believe that Kim Jong-un knows who he is, or Kim Jong-un knows who he is. He told Time magazine, quote, "I'm sure the real Kim Jong-un knows about me because I've been annoying him for the last 5 years or so. I'd be pretty disappointed if he doesn't know about me."
I think it would be hilarious if he didn't know. And just like, what? No.
I don't know.
No, it's stupid.
Sounds like some nonsense. Okay, so after that first Israeli burger ad that got him started, Howard X gets asked to do more gigs, right? So his next time he's asked to come to L.A., he and Dennis Rodman were going to do an ad for a pistachio company.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah, because I think the theme there is nuts. I don't know. I'm just
right?
guessing.
Well, did they do that ad?
No, he couldn't get it sorted out. Rodman did it with another lookalike. He couldn't get his visa worked out.
Yeah, I was going to say, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, so... Well, let's take a little break. Yeah. And then after this, we'll get back to him getting into saving dissident lookalikes. Elizabeth.
I'm Elizabeth.
And I am Elizabeth.
Yep.
Well, we're back, and I got more for you. You ready?
Oh my God, we're back again. Go ahead.
Where do I start? Oh, December 2013. Do you remember it well?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, well, I don't. So December 2013, Howard X, my man, he decides he's going to get himself involved in the protests. He's like, you know what? I've had enough of this Chinese People's Republic of China nonsense. They are getting up in my grill, and I'm going to speak out about it.
Okay.
So he went down there, and he joined himself into the protests in Hong Kong. It's in Hong Kong, by the way.
Yeah.
He goes down, and he wanted to protest China's decision to send North Korean defectors back to North Korea. They had escaped. China caught them, or they made it into China. China's, we're going to send them back to North Korea. So in Hong Kong, they're like, we got to protest.
That's why defectors try and get to Mongolia.
Yes.
Because Mongolia will send them to South Korea.
Very good. Yeah. So the next time he decides to get involved in the protest movement, still in Hong Kong, he goes with the Umbrella Movement, which was a pro-democracy movement against the Chinese announced elections for 2017. So this time we're in 2014, but the elections were coming up, right? And they were announcing them. So people were like, no, you cannot take over Hong Kong system. So he's out there in the protest dressed as Kim Jong, firing up the people, right?
So he didn't go as Howard X.
No, he went as Kim Jong
Hong Kong resident.
Yeah.
He went as, okay.
Exactly. He didn't go as like voter and involved citizen.
No.
He went out there as political satirist.
As stunter.
So he's out there on the front lines of the protest, and then he gets into this. He's like, you know what? I'm good for this. The people feel me. I can rally the troops. So he heads down to Singapore because the real Kim Jong-un is going to have a summit meeting with President Donald Trump. So he's like, I gotta be there. I gotta be.
So he's pushing it. Oh
yeah. He's like, I'm gonna mix it up. So he manages to get some, and I quote, mall and seafood restaurant to pay for him to go down and promote them. I guess I don't know.
So two things: a mall and a seafood restaurant. It's not like all one thing.
That's how it was reported in the
mall
stories.
is just one giant seafood restaurant
Exactly.
with like a hot topic in the middle of it. Chess King.
It's like, I don't want to pick on malls.
Yeah.
Like how they're dying.
R.I.P. malls.
Yeah, malls were once fun. Anyway, so he gets down to Singapore. Howard X was stopped at the airport, and he gets detained because he's a political activist, and his bags are searched, and he, quote, is grilled on his political stance. The authorities decide to let him into the country, but they tell him, look, you need to stay as far away as possible from Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump. And he's like, all right, bet. I'll totally do that. He did not do that. So he goes, he's touring Singapore, and he goes out there with a Donald Trump impersonator. So he and the Donald Trump impersonator are pretending to be like sightseeing. So some people are like being convinced it's really them because they're really on the island. Anyway, so it's a whole mess. So
could you imagine if Donald Trump and Kim Jong-il were all holding hands going on a tour?
Oh yeah, I totally can. I can very easily picture
trying to process
But seeing them, no, I cannot do that part.
No.
Well, let's see. A couple years later, he decides, you know what? I love this whole, going right at Kim Jong-un. So when they had the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics in 2018, he's like, I'm going there. I got to be there, front and center. And he gets there, and he sees this group of North Korean cheerleaders, and he's dressed as Kim Jong-un. And he goes out and he shakes his moneymaker with the cheerleaders. People get pissed. North Korean officials come over, and they basically beat up their dear fake leader. You can't do that.
That's also good footage to have.
Exactly.
North Korean troops beating up their dictator.
Well, according to Howard X, he said, I thought the cheerleaders were hogging the spotlight, and I wanted to take the piss out of them. North Korean agents pushed me around. I was assaulted.
Lucky, that's it.
No, I almost wanted to do him with an Australian accent because that's where he did his jazz instruction.
Well, let's say he has an Australian accent.
Okay, maybe
Why
for the
not?
rest I will. I don't know.
We'll just establish that as canon
new
at
canon?
this point.
Okay,
Yeah.
so in 2019, he travels, Howard X travels to Hanoi, Vietnam, and because Trump and Kim Jong-un are scheduled to have a second summit meeting in Vietnam.
I remember that.
So Howard X and a Trump impersonator go wandering around the streets again. This is confusing tourists and locals alike. They're like, what the hell's going on? So he gives an interview to a local Vietnamese TV station as like Kim Jong-un.
Lay it on me. I know where you're going.
The police confront him and they detain him on camera. Him and the Trump impersonator. They get pulled away. They get questioned. The police tell him, look, there's only one way you got to stay in this country. You got to take off all this Kim Jong-un get up and you got to go hire a proper guide and put some money back in the tourist economy. And he's like, I'm not doing that.
No, what did he say?
Says, I'll do this. I'm getting out of your blooming country. I'm going back to a proper nation.
Yes.
So the authorities, they go, all right, if you're going to take that attitude, Kim Jong, we're going to have to let you stay in the country. So they tell him his visa is valid. But then they're just, you know what? We changed our mind. He's like, what? You just told me I could stay. They're like, we're tricking you. He's like, oh, damn it. They're like, it's invalid. So they kick him out of the country. They tell him, you need to get the hell out of Vietnam. He's like, I was already on my way. Now, Howard X, he goes back to his hotel and he stays there for a few days.
In Vietnam.
In Vietnam. His way out of the country is to stay in his hotel for a few days.
Just hide.
He just hides in his hotel. So a few days pass, boom, he hears a knock. He goes, oh no, it's the police. And of course, it's the police. So they tell him.
Like the actual police officers, the band?
It's Gordon Sumner, a.k.a. Sting. And he shows up. He's like, you need to go. And he's like, oh man, I love you. So anyway.
I love the fever dream version of all this.
So the police tell Howard X, look, man, it's time to go back to your Nation of Islam or wherever it is you come from, Mr. X. So they escort him to the airport and they make sure he goes back to Hong Kong, right?
Yeah.
So then at the airport, Howard X, he runs into some reporters. I think he called the reporters.
Sure.
But anyway, he runs into some reporters. He's like, look, satire is a powerful weapon against any dictatorship. They are scared of a couple guys that look like the real thing. So, okay, well, that's the Howard X before. This is to give you the full picture. Now, you ready to see how this man gets involved in international politics in a war zone? Yes. Okay, Elizabeth, I promised you a Vladimir Putin lookalike and a Zelensky lookalike. Buckle up, Buttercup.
I'm ready.
In February of last year, 2022, Howard X was watching the news, and like most of us, he was focused on Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
Yeah.
And he all of a sudden, he sees the comedian turned president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, become, quote, the enemy's number one target, right? As he bravely and defiantly is marshaling his country to fight aggressor. And you remember him out in the street making the TikTok videos and stuff. He's just like, it was super. He gave me, so a couple of them gave me chills.
Well,
I was like, bro,
because
that's
he's
brave
out
as all
there.
hell.
He's out there in like a bunker being like, bring it.
Yes, I was like
that's pretty cool.
As modern propaganda and theater of war stuff,
yeah.
I was like, he gets it.
Yeah.
So anyway, he sees all this and he starts thinking, you know, like most of us, Howard X was moved by this. And he's like thinking, like, what can I do to help the Ukrainian people? Slava Ukraine, right? And he's like getting on to it. And he starts thinking about a friend of his who is a Zelensky lookalike. So he's like,
did he meet him in the network? Like, is there like a Comic-Con type thing?
You spot on got it.
Oh,
so
God.
the dude he's a Uzbekistani guy, and he'd been working in Russia and the Ukraine, imitating the man who would eventually become the enemy's number one target, right? So this Zelensky lookalike, he was in Kiev and he's like taking shelter as like the missiles and the artillery shells are hitting, right? And this dude looks so much like Zelensky that Howard X is like, I got to get him out of there, right? Like
weren't the Russians sending assassins in? Like there were so
many. The first few days was he was the number one target. If they could take him out, cut off the head of the snake. And here we've got
this Uzbeki.
Yes.
Walking around Kyiv, just pretending.
Who looks exactly like the number one target.
What a dingus.
This poor innocent Uzbeki man is just like about to become Russia's number one target.
He had time to get out before this was happening.
He's not like a wealthy lookalike. He's not like doing well
people
with this.
Walked to Poland.
True. This is true.
Well, and the thing with the lookalikes, put a hat on and some sunglasses and grow a beard.
I'll get into that.
Okay.
It doesn't even work. He looks that much like him. So anyway, the guy's worried about the missiles, the airstrikes, right? And so he he is trying to escape. It is not easy. He is a broke lookalike. He basically is like, when he's not a lookalike, he is a car painter. He paints cars, like used cars. This is what the dude is. He's not like, he's got like some luggage he's got to get out of there. He's not like going, let me go pop in my ride and I'm going to head off to Bratislava. He's like, okay. So dude is like sitting there, and what Howard X knows that. He's like, oh man, as you pointed out, the Russian soldiers are going to want to like grab this dude if they don't kill him just on sight. But they also could make videos with him. They can make propaganda. Oh, yeah. They could confuse people with a TikTok video that shows Zelensky leaving or like make him say like, look, I've decided to give up the country, whatever it is. Like, he would be a really powerful weapon of propaganda or misinformation. So Howard X is like, I got to get my friend out of Kiev, right? So this dude, I should tell you his name. He kept saying, hey, my friend. Yeah. His name is Umed Isabayev, right? And Umed Isabayev is from, as I said, Uzbekistan. He was living in Russia, and he was just sitting there minding his own business when somebody snaps a photo of him on the subway. The photo goes viral, and he looks so much like Zelensky. When I told you he was, Zelensky was the star of a TV show. It was called Servant of the People, where he played a president. And this is basically what qualified him to run for president. Right. But he plays this role as the president of Ukraine, and the show was so impressed when they saw pictures of Umed, they had him fly to Ukraine and become his body double for the show.
Whoa. Yeah. Like, Zaron.
Yeah, I'm saying it. He was like for real, legit, spot on. Where they're like, oh yeah, we can just have him like whenever Zelensky's tired, we'll just have him sit there and light a little bit. It'll be perfect, right?
He's like a decoy on
the show. Pretty much. So Howard X and Umed, they had known each other because there was a Russian documentary about lookalikes around the world, right? So they were both in the same documentary. So they'd gotten to know each other. So when Russia invades Ukraine, Howard X is thinking about Umed, and he's like, okay, I know the political value of a lookalike, like me and Umed. I'm going to have to get him out there. I got to take away this weapon from Putin. So as he was on the podcast Snap Judgment, and Howard X told this podcast, quote, I want to take that chess piece out of Putin's hand. It's only a small piece, but I believe it's an important one. And also, he's wanting me try. So his mind made up. Howard X phones his friend Umed, and who is, by the way, still in Kiev, right? And he's like, I said, what the hell are you doing? You need to get the hell out of there. So this is March 1st, by the way, 2022. And Howard thinks, this is this unique problem, but I have one hell of a solution. I've got a Vladimir Putin lookalike. So he calls up his Vladimir Putin lookalike friend, who he's like, tight with. The dude is Polish, right? The fake Putin is Polish, right? So he lives in Warsaw, which is pretty close to Ukraine. So he's like, oh, hey, man, you need to help my buddies trying to flee Ukraine. So Howard X, calls him, and the Putin lookalike, by the way, the Putin lookalike, his name is Steve Poland.
Stop it. Zaron, stop it. Steve Poland?
Steve Poland. I love that.
And he's from Poland?
Yeah, he's Polish. His name is Steve Poland. That's his stage name. His stage.
Oh, I thought he was like, that's his government name.
No, that is not like on his ID.
Like I'm Elizabeth America.
Yeah, exactly. Steve Poland. By the way, help me. Isn't that the most amazing stage name?
It's so great.
I love that.
It's so lazy.
Exactly.
It's the laziest stage name.
Like, other than Regina Corn Tower, what stage name would you want to go with? If you went for the lazy stage
Elizabeth Podcast.
Podcast. You don't want to be Elizabeth California?
Well, no, that's like my real name.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I don't want to bust out
like
your ethnicity.
Like Robert California on The Office.
Exactly.
Just weirder.
So my dude Howard X, he phones up Steve Poland and he tells him the score. And Howard X is like, look, we need to get this guy out. He's in real danger. He's one of us. We have an obligation.
One of us.
Yeah, so he's like, he's part of the tribe.
I wish that all the imposters had gotten together and done one of those Imagine videos, like at the beginning of the pandemic, where they all sing it. But it's just all imposters. Can we work on that?
That would be amazing.
I kind of need that.
Lookalikes, can we?
Because then there's that freaky Let It Be one with all the 80s stars, which I think I'll see if they can put that up on our Instagram. Yeah, I don't know how long it is, but either way. And what kind of copyright violation that is. But we got to figure out a song for our imposters to sing.
Oh, God, let's think about
Rainbow Connection.
Ooh, I like that.
That's good.
Anything by the Muppets, I think is good.
Yeah.
Could this be an ad campaign for Designer Impostors reboot?
Yes!
Dave, you crazy genius.
Producer Dave, when you nail it good.
We're just an idea factory over here. I'm looking for sponsorships.
So, okay, lookalike. Steve Poland and Howard X, they realize as this tribe of lookalikes, they've got an obligation, right? So he says, Steve Poland's like, okay, makes total sense to me. I know how hard it is living large as a lookalike. We're going to need to get him out. So By the way, when I say living large, I think you need to know a little about Steve Poland. In 2021, I found out the band Duran Duran hired Steve Poland to do his fake Putin routine in one of their music videos for their song Anniversary, which was a celebration of the 40th anniversary of the band's first album, 1981, which was released in 1981. Yeah, and
I love Duran.
That's why I wanted to tell you. I know you legit love them. So
go ahead.
Go, please.
When you said that he was living large, I thought you were going to say he's like 7 feet tall. But that's okay. Go ahead.
Not literal. No. But the Duran Duran music video that Steve Poland is in, he is playing Putin. He's riding an inflatable horse as a Kim Kardashian lookalike pops selfies of herself, or obviously, and then Queen Elizabeth throws back champagne. A Queen Elizabeth lookalike throws back champagne.
Oh my God. This is like one of those old Genesis videos.
Yes, exactly.
Was it Land of Confusion or whatever?
Dude, also, can we pour some out for all the Queen Elizabeth lookalikes? Because they just lost their whole
now they're just
thing.
Ghostly specters. Now they got to hit up all the haunted houses in London.
Seriously, how rough is that? Like, some monarchy dies and your whole career is done. Like,
that's what happened. Then they all have to go back to Impostor Island and like regroup.
Like the Island of Lost Toys or Broken Toys.
They all live on Impostor Island.
I like that. The most dangerous game. Go and hunt their imposters. So anyway, back to Howard asking Steve Poland. So there's one fact I forgot to tell you about Howard, Steve, and Umid. None of them speak the same language. So they're doing Umid speaks Uzbek and Russian.
Okay.
Steve Poland speaks Polish. And Howard, he speaks English and Cantonese. So they're doing all of their communicating through Google Translate. Oh my God. And also
how great is the Putin impersonator who doesn't speak Russian?
So they do Zoom phone calls, but are like typing messages and translating the messages.
They're just looking at each other,
but typing as fast as they can.
Just make it a group chat.
There's a reason why they have to get on Zoom. There's a very good reason, and I'll get into that in 1 second. Let's take a break, and then I'm sorry, and I'll tell you all about how this gets even wilder.
I love it.
Okay, Elizabeth, you asked a very good question, which is why would 3 people who don't speak the same language use a video call to communicate?
Yeah.
And I have an answer for you. Because Umid needed to trust them.
Okay, to know that it was actually them.
Yes, so this lookalike wanted to hop on a Zoom call with another lookalike so he could see if that person was who they claimed to be. Follow that logic, right?
Yeah, and not a lookalike.
Yeah, but that's what he needed to see if they were the person.
He's like, are you the imposter and not the imposter of the imposter?
Exactly.
Yes.
I can't have a lookalike of a lookalike.
No.
That would mess me up, and my life would be in danger. So, but you can't blame Ubid. I mean, look, he's got people who are after him. How can you be able to trust him? So Howard X, I'll let him pick up the story. He told the New York Post, he didn't know who we were. He was kind of mistrusting when I called him up. I said I had to really convince him. Look, we're not working for the Russians. We're not working for the Ukrainians. We're just impersonators. So Umad recalled this same phone call, and he said, I just want to do some good for you. You're in danger, and I want to save you. This war is not going to end tomorrow or the day after, and there is no reason for you to stay here. It's better if we get you out of Kiev. So I told him, first, let me meet you and talk to you so I can know if you are who you say you are.
That makes sense, because otherwise it's like, if I'm just like Russian army, I could text him and be like, hey.
Exactly. Meet me on the corner.
Fake Kim Jong. Let me help you. He's like, okay.
Howard's like, totally agrees. He's with you. The logic makes perfect sense to him. He's like, I told him, look, you can see me on the video and you'll know what I look like. And you can see the guy who plays Putin. We just want to save you because we consider you a colleague. And because the Russians were actually after him. So at this point, Umid had been called like Howard telling him, I'm not forcing you to trust me. It is your choice, right? So Umid's like, okay, I think to myself. And he decides he's going to trust Howard X. As Umid put it, he knew politics and politicians. He was able to explain to them and to me that I believed him. He told the truth. I thought maybe Allah has given me a chance to leave this place. So he decides this is a God-given sign. This Kim Jong-un impersonator. God truly works through mysterious ways. So Howard reaches back out to Steve Poland for help, and he's like, okay. Then the two lookalikes put their very famous-looking faces and heads together, and they come up with a plan to do an evac operation. Now, Steve Poland, he knows folks in the Ukrainian resistance and the Polish underground helping the Ukrainian resistance. So he's like, look, I need you to contact some people. They work it all out. He contacts the Ukrainian National Guard, and he gets a car arranged to send over to them to meet Umed in Kiev, right? So the plan is that they then take him to a safe house about 100 kilometers or clicks outside of Kiev, and there he would chill and be safe until Steve Poland could cross the border and come and get him.
I wish they would have like a video where Steve Poland runs out and embraces him, and like everyone's seeing it because it's being broadcast live on TV of Putin and Zelensky hugging.
Just wait.
Oh, God.
So Steve Poland tells his contacts the mission is a go. The car is sent to go rescue Umed, and when it arrives, Umed is a no-show. Umed is not there. This is bad because Howard X knows right where he is. He's been paying for his hotel room. He's been paying for all of his life costs. So he knows where he is. He's like, maybe he's been killed. Yeah. So turns out he was not killed. Umed was still alive. But the Zelensky lookalike, he's cagey. He was being actively followed around by Russian troops who are basically menacing him all the time. So he's like on super sketch mode, right? And as Umed told Snap Judgment, I don't trust anybody else in the world except my father. I had some people close to me in Kiev who took me under their protection. They said, let us check the vehicle that comes to pick you up. They didn't want some strange driver to give me to Russian soldiers. They said they would check the vehicle and the driver first, and I should tell them I wasn't home. So he does exactly that, right? And so these folks didn't trust the driver, and they kiboshed the meeting, so the car goes away. Yeah. More days pass. Howard X is like, what the hell? He's constantly trying to reach Umed to get him out of this war zone. So as he later on recalled, so we had to talk to him. I said, what the hell, man? The call was waiting for you there, man. We had to pull a lot of strings to get this guy. So he's like furious because he's working through Steve Poland. They're working through the Ukrainian resistance. We're trying to get a car to him in the war zone. It works. And then he's not there. So they're like, what are we going to do? But Howard X is patient. He tells Steve Poland, look, the guy needs to trust us. This is a problem because, if we're going to get him out of Kiev, it has to start with, all relationships start with trust, Steve.
Yes. Yes, Steve.
They work on him. Also, by the way, the Russian forces are drawing closer and closer. And to this point, Zelensky's hiding in a bunker. It's getting dicey. The city, he can't really cross the city. And once again, Zelensky looked like he definitely can't cross the city, right?
Right.
Airstrike happens, knocks out the TV tower near him to now they can't get a phone signal into him. More days pass. Umed is losing out, pretty much any chance to escape. Concerns are growing. Worry. Finally, Howard X is able to use WhatsApp to get a hold of him, right? So he tells Steve Poland, get on the video phone. Get on the WhatsApp. We need to do a video call so he can see you. Right? So he gets Steve Poland to hop on the video call with Umed. Now, just to paint the scene for you, we have a Putin lookalike on a Zoom call with a Kim Jong-un lookalike desperately trying to convince a Zelensky lookalike to trust them both. Now, Howard was able to tell the Snap Judgment, quote, we convinced him. We are a people that he can trust. We're just impersonators trying to help you out. We're not working for the Ukrainians. We're not working for the Russians. We're just trying to help you out.
They represent Impostor Island.
Exactly.
They fly under the flag of Impostor Island.
Once he could look in their lookalike eyes, Umed could trust them. He was like, Allah has made me trust him. So he decides, boom. And now time is of the essence. So Howard X and Steve Poland, they coordinate a second ride. They work their channels in the underground. This is like a war movie. I'm telling you, Umed is there this time when the car arrives. And this time he gets in the car. The next day, the whole area is destroyed. So he basically just escapes, right? Yeah. So Umed manages to escape, and he's trying to get across the Ukraine. He gets on a minibus with a bunch of other refugees. COVID's popping off at this time, right? Yeah. So everybody is on this minibus wearing masks, and Umed is also wearing sunglasses. But he's in the Ukraine, and everybody in the Ukraine knows what Zelensky looks like. He's also the most famous man in the world at this moment. So the refugees recognize their president. And they believe it's really him.
Oh, no.
So they start to accuse Umed of trying to flee the Ukraine. Because they're convinced he's trying to get out.
You coward.
Exactly. And he's like, no. So Umed tells a little story. And he's like, the driver recognized me first. And then all the women in the car eventually recognized me. They said, you're Zelensky. And that's why you don't want to take off your mask. You want to know how regular people are being evacuated. So, So eventually he's able to calm down the other refugees and tell them, look, I'm not the president. But they still just won't believe him. He has to find his passport, and he shows them his Uzbeki passport. And they're like, okay.
They're like, oh, you bought that to get out of the country.
Well, they were asking him, like, what are your plans to end the war? And he's like, it's not me. I'm not Zelensky. Right? They were like harping on him. Like, can you imagine being stuck in a minibus with all these people who are fleeing and they're blaming you?
Yeah,
and they think you're fleeing.
They're in the most stressful time of their lives.
Yeah, and also, by the way, the people, once they're convinced that he is not Zelensky, then they tell him, but hey, President Zelensky, we are standing with you. Even though they think and know that he is not, they still can't help themselves. They have to tell the symbol, we're standing with you.
Yeah,
so
it feels good.
This starts really touching Umid. He feels really good, right? So he keeps, basically letting the people know, like, we're going to get through this. The nation will rise. And so they're having their little moment of rousing. And, eventually, he's able to relax, and as much as one can on a minibus packed full of refugees, all fleeing a war zone, right? Or actually traveling through a war zone. But as Umid recalled thinking, quote, many, many things were going through my mind. Where am I going? Are these people trustworthy? Are the Russians going to kidnap me? What if there is a rocket explosion right next to me? I was afraid. At the time, I understood what Zelensky might feel as a person, as a president. So he starts imagining himself as Zelensky as he's making this exodus. So the lookalike, who has walked or at least now driven a mile in another man's shoes, has had this idea of what his life may be like. And this trip takes days, mind you. So he's getting a really good idea of what it's like to be Zelensky.
Yeah.
And they're passing through countless military checkpoints. And at one point, they run into serious trouble, like serious trouble. But rather than me just tell you about it, Elizabeth, I'd like you to close your eyes.
Yes.
And picture it.
Yes.
It's nighttime in Ukraine. It's days into the Russian occupation, as tanks with white painted Zs stream into the country and artillery shells and missiles streak overhead. You are working as a translator at a military checkpoint. But you're treating it like your last job as a Walmart greeter. You've been super friendly and you have a smile for everyone. You have an infectious southern warmth. And then there's the Ukrainian soldiers standing guard in the military checkpoint with you. They are, in 3 words, young and well-armed. So these soldiers stand on either side of the road, very serious-faced, and they stop all the vehicles in both directions. And then you go, and if anybody comes, you try to help translate or greet them, let them know that it's, you're okay. Yeah. So someone spots a minibus approaching out of the inky darkness. And out there beyond that pool of lights that the checkpoint has created, and the soldiers get ready. They clutch weapons. Their eyes go all steely. You do the opposite. You get ready, a big warm smile. For whomever you're about to greet who is behind the wheel of that minibus. The approaching minibus puts along, and it's just tootling down the road. But as it gets closer, you can tell from how low it's riding on its axles that it must be fully loaded down with people. Yeah. And you've seen a lot of buses and cars coming through loaded down with people. This is not the first one at all. The most have been crammed stuffed with people pouring out of the cities, headed north to the Polish border, right? Now, this minibus pulls to a stop at the checkpoint, shudders to a diesel-y kind of idle, we'll say. You walk over in case there's anyone who needs a translator, and you speak, mind you, English, French, Polish, Romanian, Hungarian, Bulgarian, Ukrainian, Russian, a few other Slav dialects like Serbian and Croatian. You're basically a Swiss Army knife of Eastern European languages, so you're super handy. Well, one of the young, well-armed soldiers, he approaches the driver's side window, and you follow, and you're right on his heels. And as the driver of the minibus rolls down his window, you hear him finish saying to the people, his passengers, don't answer any questions, just show documents. So the soldier asks the driver where he's headed. And just after he's finished speaking, you say in a sunny drawl, how y'all doing today? Welcome to our checkpoint. How is everyone today? And then you repeat this in Ukrainian and in Bulgarian and Hungarian, just as sunny and as possible as you can with the same big smile that they deserve. Now, the driver seems to understand Ukrainian, so he weakly smiles back at you, and then he looks back at the soldier, and the driver breaks his own rule. He answers the soldier. He says the minibus is headed to Wrocław, which is just over the Polish border. You've heard this all day. The soldier nods. He asks for the driver's papers. Since he doesn't need you to translate, you take the moment to look into the minibus. It is indeed loaded down with refugees' families. There's old and young piled together, luggage on their laps, people clinging to their children, their husband, their wife. It's a very sad scene. And then you notice a familiar face. But it can't be. It couldn't be. That's impossible. The soldier spots it too. You both start staring at the same passenger. The dude looks like Volodymyr Zelensky. You're like, is the president in this minibus? The soldier orders the man close to the front, this guy who looks like Zelensky, to take off his COVID mask and to lower his glasses. The man does as instructed. He has to. The soldier has a rifle. He's very clearly he's kind of itchy to use it.
Yeah.
When the man lowers his mask, you and the soldier both gasp. And Zelensky, it looks just like him. It can't be. He's just cruising around with refugees. The soldier can't believe his eyes. Is he fleeing? Is the president fleeing? He gets angry. He looks at you, and then you nod and pantomime in your sunny way. Well, I'll be. Isn't that peculiar? It's Zelensky. You do all this with your face. It's amazing, right?
Yes, I'm incredible.
The soldier turns back, and he orders President Zelensky to get out of the minibus. The other passengers are getting nervous, so you go and give them a few of your megawatt smiles and try to calm the situation down, just like Walmart taught you. Mm-hmm. And it seems to be helping, you tell yourself. But what war couldn't use just a little more of that familiar Walmart warmth? You know, when you get down to it.
Exactly.
Well, the soldier, he's about to point his rifle into the minibus, and you step closer to help sort out all this trouble. You're like, I'm sorry, but you see, you look like the president. You aren't President Zelensky, are you? Now, I don't know why you're speaking to him in English, because clearly the man speaks Ukrainian, but you know Zelensky speaks English. You think, well, I'll just go with my strongest language. But the man in question does as he was told by the driver. He doesn't answer your question or the soldier's questions. He just hands you paperwork. The driver of the minibus, though, he speaks up. He says, Umid, he is just a lookalike. Nothing to see here. All right, the soldier
Anytime you say nothing to see here is a red flag of there is something to see
There is definitely something to look at.
I'm going to start using that, though, when there isn't anything. Like, I'll go out on my house to get the garbage cans to pull in, and I see a neighbor. Nothing to see here. Just make them all nervous.
Just arouse their suspicions a little. I like that. Yeah. Well, the soldier's like, so he's like, he is look-alike. And then the driver repeats back, yes, look-alike. And then he is Zelensky body double. And then the driver's like, no, he is imitator, like clown. And then, like clown. So then the soldier looks over Umid one more time, and then he nods and smiles. Like clown, yes, okay. So he reaches into the minibus, and he shakes hand. You are like looking into eyes of President Zelensky. And let me say, we won't let you down. Slava Ukraine. So he says, and he lets them go. So now you wave goodbye with one of your big smiles.
Bye, y'all.
Umid and the bus just go tootling back off down the road. And then you, have a little chuckle to yourself about what almost was. And the soldiers will look at you, and then they get steely-eyed again.
Uh-huh. I am annoying them to no end.
Now, after a week on the road, traveling through this active war zone, my man Umid manages to get through the country into the Polish border, where he is met by Steve Poland, the Putin lookalike. So Zelensky and the Putin lookalike meet at the Polish border. According to Steve Poland, we have a first-hand account.
Oh.
He went directly to the hotel. We had reserved for him and slept. He was exhausted. After that, he came to the reception area to meet me. I knew what he looked like, but when he came out, I have to say that he looked more like Zelensky in person. We shook hands, and then we hugged each other. There were some people in the reception area, and they looked at us. They looked very surprised.
Yeah, I bet.
You got your image.
I
Zelensky
did.
and Putin hugging, and people being like, what the?
What incarnation?
Now, Elizabeth, there's a little more to this story. I know we've gotten Umid across the border.
Yes.
But I want you to know that Howard X, the coordinator, the lookalike leader of this tribe, this was his second time saving somebody from a war-torn area who was a lookalike.
What?
Just 1 year prior, Howard X had saved the Afghan Bruce Lee from the Taliban.
No.
Yes,
Wait,
Elizabeth.
the Afghan?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
So the
Why does your face look like that?
I'm just so confused right now that, okay, I need to hear this.
Okay, so just like how he saved the Zelensky lookalike from Vladimir Putin's grip, he needed to get this Bruce Lee lookalike away from the Taliban. Although I don't imagine the Taliban was going to use him for propaganda.
Well,
I don't know why.
Because Bruce Lee's no longer with us.
In spirit, he is always with us, Elizabeth.
Is he on Tupac Island?
Yes,
Bruce Lee didn't really die.
Exactly. He's teaching Biggie the moves.
Yes.
He's like, Biggie, like this. And Biggie's got the tightest fist moves now.
On the map in my mind, there are all these little islands. Tupac Island.
Exactly. I love your
Impostor Island.
I like your imagination.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm just imagining Bruce Lee telling Biggie, he's holding up his fist, I do not hit. It hits all by itself. And Biggie's like, whoa.
Sure.
So now we have this thing where Bruce Lee lookalike needs to get out of Afghanistan because the Taliban's after him, right? Well, dude's name is Abbas Alizada. Right? Abbas Alizada. So according to Howard X, Abbas Alizada is, quote, probably the best Bruce Lee impersonator I know. I don't know how many Bruce Lee impersonators he knows.
He's got like a standing army of 8 Bruce Lee impersonators.
Exactly.
He's my first favorite.
Who's your third favorite Bruce Lee impersonator? You know. Personally know. So this is also, by the way, I think we've pointed out enough, but it should be harped one more time. Another member of his tribe. He's got to look after his tribe. He's got a responsibility. He's a committed member. And I wish more people were like Howard X.
Yeah, that is true.
He just gets up. He's like, I got to save a member of my tribe. So, it's like, but also, I like him because he's not just a lookalike. He's more of a do-alike. He's a take charge.
He is, but in a positive sense.
Yes, exactly.
What in the world is the Bruce Lee impersonator doing in Afghanistan all the time?
Just killing it. Just killing the game. I've looked at his photos. It's impressive.
Really?
He's really striking.
Does he give like little exhibitions of...
I'm so glad you asked that question.
Or
kind of asked that question. Here you go. This is Howard X to answer. Not only does he look like him, but he spent his whole life practicing martial arts.
Wow.
Yeah, he kicks like him too.
Kick.
But looking like Bruce Lee or throwing hands like Bruce, that isn't going to be enough for you against the Taliban. So Howard X is like, we need to get Afghan Bruce Lee out of there, right? So he's like, how do you get Afghan Bruce Lee out of Dodge? Well, you send him money. So he starts like, basically creating this. Well, I'll let him tell it. He told ABC Australia, quote, he was stuck in Kabul and the Taliban was actually looking for him. They tried to go to his house 2 times to kill him. Like, it was serious. They were after Bruce Lee. Afghan Bruce Lee was
because he represents the West?
I don't know. I can't quite figure this one out.
Okay.
But, you got to try pretty hard to kill Afghan Bruce Lee. The dude is pretty cagey. So Abbas, he manages to escape the Taliban hunting parties, and he relies on the money that Howard X is sending him to escape. And Howard X, he told the Washington Post that the Afghan Bruce Lee had all of his bank accounts frozen and he had no way to access money. So he's basically just sending him pittances of money to keep him existing, right? They coordinate an exit plan. So after Afghan Bruce Lee's daring escape from his home country, Howard X manages to get him to his second country, Australia, and he gets him in. And last update that I saw, Abba Alizada, the Afghan Bruce Lee, he was in a hostel in Australia living with other Afghan refugees, and they were all on wait lists waiting to be repatriated to Australia. So fingers crossed, Afghan Bruce Lee will soon be Australia Bruce Lee.
Yeah, good luck, dude.
And we'll see what he does. Now, Howard X, dude, always looks out for his members of his tribe, as I've told you. I'm so down for that. But also, I think it's kind of funny that none of them asked to look like someone famous. Right?
Yeah.
Or even worse yet, to look like someone infamous and notorious, and yet they're able to make it work for them. Like, they don't get bitter about this. Like, every single one of them's like, look, I'm going to find a way to make this work. But Howard X, he goes the furthest with all this. He makes it like, provocative. He becomes like, I'm coming after you, kind of like Kim Jong-un energy. So he has said, and I quote, I don't get tired of it. In fact, being a political impersonator of Kim Jong-un, I get away with saying things that no other impersonator and nobody else could get away with. So he sees himself as being someone who could speak truth to power.
Yeah.
So more of that, I guess.
As part of a genetic lottery.
He exists in that rarefied air, yeah. So now, if you watch this Howard X space, I would recommend that because you may be seeing a lot more of him and his tribe of lookalikes because according to his Facebook page, Howard X is, quote, currently assembling a satirical boy band featuring impersonators of Putin, Xi Jinping, and me, myself, as Kim Jong-un called the Tyrants.
A boy band?
Keep your eye out for the Tyrants.
A man band.
A man band. Now, if you're also wondering about Umid and the Zelensky lookalike, he is doing well. He is in Poland, and my man Steve Poland says he stays in touch with him. So
thanks, Steve Poland.
I see him almost every day. We are friends. So somewhere in the world, fake Putin and fake Zelensky are sharing a laugh.
That's amazing.
Just makes you happy, doesn't it?
That's amazing.
That's all I got for you. Elizabeth, what's our ridiculous takeaway?
My ridiculous takeaway is, I suppose, if you look like someone famous or infamous, lean into it.
Yes.
My instinct would be to do whatever you can to make yourself not look like that. Because I'm sure they get harassed or pestered, I should say, everywhere they go.
Bothered, yes.
Yeah. So, Zaron, what's your ridiculous takeaway?
Well, I used to look a lot like Bob Marley. To the point that if I left my house, someone would tell me, hey, no one ever told you look like Bob Marley? I got it for years, right? So much so that my friends came up with a nickname, Izzy Marley. So they would call me Izzy Marley, like, is he Marley, right? So I very much understand what they went through, and I can just say this. make it work for you. And, if women find you sexy, definitely make that work for you. You could be like a double for a fantasy.
You heard that, Steve Poland?
Steve Poland, make it work for you. All the women who want to get that Putin on top of them, get that dictator climbing up on top of them, making sexy faces, they're out there. Rule 34. It exists. Anyway, that's all I got for you. That's my ridiculous takeaway.
That's excellent.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
We'll be back next with more. Also, by the way, you can find us online at Ridiculous Crime on both Twitter and Instagram. Email us if you like at ridiculouscrime@gmail.com. And send us a talkback on the iHeart app.
Yeah.
We listen and we enjoy them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thanks for listening.
You're welcome.
Ridiculous Crime is hosted by Elizabeth Dutton and Zaron Burnett. Produced and edited by our resident hair and makeup specialist for lookalikes, Dave Koustin. Research is by booking agents for all the top star lookalikes, Marissa Brown and Andrea Song Charpentier. Our theme song is by Thomas, Call Me Bob Marley, and Travis, I'm John Dutton. Executive producers are Young Stalin lookalike Ben Bolin and Noel, I only look like myself, Brown.
Ridiculous crime.
Say it one more time.
Ridiculous crime.
Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.